Go ahead.
Zach, this morning, Mike Brown announced that you and Duke will be coming back for next year. And he said that both of you are leaders that this team needs moving forward. What does it mean to you to have the owner come out and say such positive things?
I'm appreciative of that, and again, I think when you're aligned and you get together like we get together and we're on the same page, I don't need those things said about me, but it's certainly helpful as we move forward and provides clarity, and so again, appreciative of that.
Did you need that?
No, I didn't need that. I felt I've had plenty of conversations, so I didn't even.
Why did you feel secure given how the season went?
I guess more so I didn't need a statement, but
Sure.
I'll just continue my job, and but I do appreciate him doing that. But I just feel like we are on a path to really good things next year, and I think everybody that exited this building today feels that, players, coaches, everybody involved with this thing, and that this season was a disappointment. It didn't go the way we wanted, but I'm already re-energized to get working on 2026 and get back to work. Doesn't mean I won't take a couple days, but I just feel like the energy of this group and the talent we have and the progress a lot of these guys made, that we've got a chance to be back in the conversation of where we belong these last couple of years, and have fallen short of that. And so I'm excited, and I feel the excitement of all our players and coaches to get back to that.
Given all the meetings you've had and discussions, what specifically do you think needs to happen to change to get to that?
I think we have to just continue to grow. I think that speaking of that, if you look at just our season this year, the last thing I left with our team is just the turnover differential. Where we lost games, we weren't good enough on either side of the ball. And that was taking the ball away from teams in the games we lost. That was scoring points for the other team on our offense, and we gave up 9 touchdowns on our offense this year. So there's things as simple as that. If you look at some of these one-score games where we didn't do enough, just possessing the ball and taking the ball away to win the game. And it was as simple as that. That doesn't mean that fundamentally, that doesn't mean that scheme will continue to evolve and our players will continue to grow, but just something as simple as the turnovers is a big key on why we weren't as successful as we should have been.
Do you think you had enough talent on the roster this year to win?
I do.
How do you evaluate yourself as a head coach at the end of every season? How do you go back and look at whether you were successful or not personally?
I feel critical about myself on decisions I made and ways I can help other people, and very open to the feedback. As we do the exit interviews with the players, and so as a part of it is how can I help you be a better player. So always open to that. I really feel like I don't have an ego that way. I'm open to criticism. I give myself criticism. Hard on myself for decisions you make in games, hard decisions you made on personnel, decisions you made during the season, all that kind of stuff. And just want to improve and be better. And so just continue to work on that.
What's the best thing you heard from a player that they said to you?
That's a hard one. I'd have to kind of process. You go through about 40-something of them today, so I don't have that answer quite ready for you.
What about your exit interview with Joe?
What's that?
Your exit interview with
That'll be
Joe?
later this week.
As you went through why the season went the way it did, were there games, moments, trends that really stuck with you as you reflect on that?
It's what game you want to talk about. It was a different reason for every game, it felt like. And that is frustrating because we got to be able to put our finger on that. And I just feel like we have the talent in this building that's going to continue to grow. I think if you look at our defense, you look at all those guys that played yesterday, and I played these last couple weeks. It's a bunch of young talent, first, second year, third year guys with a couple veterans mixed in there. But all those guys continue to grow and get better. And the confidence they're going to have going into next season, playing in the scheme for second year, being around these coaches for second year, being around each other for second year. I think the chemistry on that side of the ball they've got a lot of confidence right now coming out of these last couple games. And so I'm really excited about that. Offensively, we've got everybody under contract for the most part. That is a big part of this thing. And so I just feel really strong that we'll have a good offseason and make a lot of waves going into the next season.
Do you anticipate making any changes to the staff?
I do not.
Over the years, when we ask players about you, today included, they'll say you're a player's coach. Why is that your philosophy?
Well, I think that definition, I don't always know what that definition means. There's a part of this job where you've got to make decisions that are hard decisions that are not popular with everybody on the team, but at the same time, when guys have my respect and it's decisions where I don't feel like it's got to be my way or the highway, I want the input on from those guys. And so I do like to open that up to players. in ways that they can feel ownership of this thing, because I think that's the best way to get the most out of them. When they enjoy walking in the locker room every single day, they don't dread walking in this building. When they feel like they've got ownership in what we're doing schematically, how they're going as a player, what we're doing from a schedule standpoint. And that's not to be said. I make a lot of those decisions myself, because you got to make those decisions. But we've got a lot of guys that I've been around for a long time as players that I value their opinion, and I think they're going to help me make educated decisions. And so I think maybe that's where some of it stems from. I like to think I'm very honest with these guys, and there's hard conversations I've had with a lot of these guys over the course of the season that I think we both grew from. I think those guys appreciate that. They're maybe hard at the time for both of us, but after the fact, we both grow from it, and our relationship becomes stronger. And maybe that's where part of that stems from as well.
How much, Coach, do you think the Al coming in and kind of a new scheme? I mean, how much of that, you think that was a bigger impact than you thought it was going to be?
No.
Just the time it took to maybe get everybody settled.
Yeah, no, I think we utilized a lot of different people on that side of the ball. You get a coaching staff that came in and they worked really hard this offseason, this summer, to get together. Really, none of them had worked together before. So I was really pleased with the growth of that side of the ball, and I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited about the direction we're headed, and so I don't think anybody's pleased with our record this year and how it all ended, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of excitement from our coaching staff and our players going forward in the future.
How can you better take advantage of continuity? You have a rare continuity here,
Yeah.
and it hasn't paid off as much in recent years. How can you guys do a better job of taking advantage of that?
I think this will be, as much continuity going in this offseason as we've had. I think there's a role for all these guys that played for us this year, and it doesn't mean we won't add in free agency of the draft to make ourselves better. But I'm excited about a lot of these guys coming back, and this being a bittersweet feeling that's in our, not a bittersweet, a bitter feeling as we ended the season. And so I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited to get these guys back in April already. They're probably sick of me right now, but I'm excited to get back to work with these guys.
In that, I mean, how can you find better use of continuity amongst decision
This is a really tough question.
Amongst decision makers, like how
Okay.
can you, between Duke, I mean, you guys are back working together, and how
Yep.
can you guys do a better job of utilizing the fact that you've worked together so much this offseason when it hasn't paid off as much in recent years?
I think it's going to help. We've had this whole staff here together now going into our second year, talking about the defense guys. So that helps as we talk about personnel, as we're with the scouts, as we're with Duke. Everyone's got a better feel for each other. The coaches have been here now for 2 years on the defense side of the ball, new line coach. So everyone's got a better feel for our play style, what we're trying to do. And so I think that really will give us a lot of momentum going into the offseason of, okay, here's how we're going to utilize guys. Here's what we need to make ourselves as good as possible. Here's some things we can improve on the offense side of the ball as well. So I really have a lot of confidence in the relationship we have amongst the coaches and the scouts to make sure that we fulfill our full potential.
When I think of when you guys went on the run in 21 and 22, I think of a lot of guys that you added externally, the DJs,
Sure.
the Trays. How important is it to have an active and productive free agency period this offseason for you?
Well, I think every year is going to be a little different in terms of that. I'm excited to jump into that period to see where we can help ourselves, see what roles we need to fill. Those are conversations that we'll have over the next couple of weeks. It's still day after the season, so we're not there yet. But I am excited to approach that process. I know our scouting department is excited too, and we'll see where it ends up. But there's a lot of clarity, I think, on in all phases of it, of where we can head and where we can improve upon, and we'll get after that.
To follow up on that, it's pretty well documented how involved you are on the offensive side of the ball. Do you plan to be more involved in terms of the acquisition part of getting more defensive help this offseason based off kind of what's happened on the defensive side of the ball the last few years?
I think my role is always very similar in that. It's not just on the offense side of the ball. Obviously, our defense coaches have their whole lifetime backgrounds on the defensive side. So I give my opinion on how it affects the offense and how I think it'll affect the team and the intangible stuff that I think can really help us. But I also got a lot of people we trust to help with those decisions as well. And that's no different than offense. I lean on those offense guys as well because they put in the work at their position. They know what we're looking for. So I think it all works together.
You took a lot of pride, Zach, in the first couple of years, building a culture, building a locker room that was self-accountable, if that's even a word to use. But players who held themselves accountable, held each other accountable. Are you going to reassess that process this offseason, like who's holding each other accountable?
No, I think that's always evolving. I think every year you're gonna have guys come and go, and so I'm never gonna put it on a guy that's not ready for it. I think a lot of it, guys take that upon themselves. They realize the moment they can really come up and start doing that. To give an example, I think Sam Hubbard grew into that role over time. You know, he felt more comfortable with it because he'd proven himself on the field. So then he felt like he could start speaking more. There's been guys we brought in that have immediately filled that role because maybe they're more veteran, they've been with another program, and they earn that somewhere else and you bring in. So there's a lot of different ways where this thing can take shape. And I think we're open to all possibilities of leaders being here and growing, leaders coming in, and helping the accountability be the best that can be.
What piece of the pie, to use the phrase, what piece of the pie is good, solid leadership when you're evaluating a free agent or bringing somebody else?
It's part of it. You know, there's times when you feel like you have enough of it, or maybe you're just taking more of a talent. But I think it's always helpful if you get a lot of guys that have that intangible quality to where they can help those around them be better players, not just the talent themselves, but the guys lined up next to them. They're going to elevate their level of play for whatever reason, their leadership, their football IQ, their communication skills. As many of those guys as you can add that are force multipliers for other positions, you always are open to it.
Obviously had to play a lot of rookies this year. Do you feel like you guys added enough veteran free agents last offseason?
Yeah, I think we made the decisions that were best for us at the time. And we'll always look at that process this offseason and see what fits us going into 2026. But we were all on the same page with everything we were doing in the offseason, and I don't expect anything different this year.
Like you said, there are always different paths you can take in an off season. Tangibly, what is the process like sitting down, especially with the defensive side of the ball, with Duke, with the coaching staff, and figuring, all right, this is what you're going to do?
Yeah, I think different than last year. When was Al's last game? January something in the national championship. And then we hired the staff, you know, after interviewed him after the championship, got the staff. That was probably February when we were getting all that thing put together. And then you're talking about, okay, what's our scheme look like? A bunch of guys that were coming together. And then, okay, we got to look at these draft picks and these free agents as well. So now you got a much cleaner operation where we got a chance, okay, we've coached these guys that are here. And so where can we get better? And so that process is going to happen so much sooner. And to where we get with the scouting department and we make all the decisions we got to make on improving our team and schematically and personnel-wise. And so I feel I'm excited for that process to start because it's going to be so much sooner than it was last year.
And if you want to go ahead and say exactly what you're going to do this offseason, that'd be great. But
Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
do you know exactly how you want it to look, or is that something you're going to flesh out through these conversations?
Both. I think got a good idea of where we can help ourselves in all areas. Like I said, scheme, personnel. And it'll evolve as you have conversations and you hear different people's opinions and feedback and you iron that out. I don't want a lot of agreements. I want disagreements on who fits us and how to utilize a guy. And I think that's all healthy dialogue to improve ourselves. And so that'll be a part of the process that we go through.
How do you square, it sounds like you want to keep a lot of the same things intact moving forward to next year. How do you square that with Joe and Jamar being so vocal about something obviously needing to change as you all need to figure out how to get back to being a playoff team again?
I feel like I'm on the same page with those guys.
But what have you identified what possibly could be different? Like what would you ideally like for this thing to look next year?
Yeah, I've got a sense of it. I'm not going to broadcast it all today, but I've got a sense of how we can help ourselves going forward.
Do you have an idea of what they think needs to change? Have they voiced that to you yet, or is that something that you hope to?
Like I said, I'll follow through with Joe later on. I met with Jamar and a lot of other guys today, so I've got a good feel for where most of us guys stand.
Every offensive starter but one is under contract. Do you feel like you're in a unique position where you really only have to address one side of the ball?
I mean, that's the truth of it, and so there's no real sugarcoating that. You got a bunch of guys coming back, and it's exciting because you can focus your energy. And there's so many guys on that side of the ball that really their growth was accelerated over the last half of the year that you're really excited about their future here as starters, as role players. So I feel like we're in a tremendous position going into this offseason where our expectations are going to be sky high, and we're going to work like heck to meet those expectations. But I think the players and coaches all see the direction we're headed, and so there's a lot of positive energy heading into the offseason.
You were asked about culture, Zach, a little bit earlier, and over 7 years, I'm sure that evolves
Yeah.
and what culture is and how it can help you win games. As you now have that banked into your head of what can help, how do you see the vision of what you want your culture to be as you go towards year 8?
I think from talking to players, there's been so much team bonding, all the off the field stuff that's happened this year that's going to continue to grow. Guys on both sides of the ball, sharing and all that stuff, to where I'm as encouraged as I've ever been in terms of how our team fits together, and just not just in the football meeting room and on practice, but all the stuff off the field that guys have done a really good job growing that part of our team, and hope that continues to grow. You know, we don't just, that's not just a 1-year thing and then you put it on the back burner and let's focus on something else next year. I've always challenged these guys to be a very close team, be the closest team in the NFL, and I think they've really taken that to heart. Guys brought that up today in my meeting. You just watch our team play these last 3 games. I know yesterday was yesterday. It was just, we should not have lost that game, but we did. But that wasn't due to lack of energy and guys doing a great job over these last couple of weeks and focusing on it and giving ourselves a chance to win.
How valuable would it be to bring back Joe Flacco?
I think it'd be valuable. I think he's a starting quarterback in the NFL. And so I think anytime you've experienced that and you're able to get him back, that'd be great. Now, I'll let him speak for himself. So he'll have to look at those opportunities. But I know that he enjoyed his time here. I think it was good for all of us to get a chance to know each other. And we'll see what his future holds for him. He's got to make that decision. He's earned that as an old man. He's earned the right to decide what he wants to do. But I do know he wants to keep playing, and I appreciate that about him. And so again, what a fun time that was, getting here, getting to know him and the effect he had on our team. And we'll just see how it shakes out in the future.
It sounds like you're hoping he's back, whether or not.
I would hope that he's back. Yeah, I would. But again, I also respect him at the same time that he's got to make decisions for himself.
I know that you're pleased with what you've seen from the defensive side of the ball since the bye, but when you look at holistically this season, and I know you're not going to share exactly what your plan is, I'm asking this more of like how you would explain to the fans like what they can expect and why they should expect the defense to be better next year. But do you feel like you were missing most holistically on defense this year?
Well, I mean, I think you missed for most of the season your highest paid player on offense and defense, and that hurt us, especially key parts of the year early on. So that's a challenge, and we overcame that over time. I think all the guys grew because of that. More guys got opportunity, and their reps increased, and I saw growth in their game. That really helped us. So for me, you look at defensively, some missed tackles, some missed opportunities early on, and then those guys kept playing. Young players kept playing. They kept improving over and over, and the game slowed down for them, and their communication sped up. And their ability to make plays on the balls and create turnovers sped up. So you saw that evolution over time. And that's what's encouraging to me, is I saw the growth in that entire unit and seeing the trajectory that they're on. And I've got high expectations for that group moving forward.
As you go through roster construction this offseason, what's the biggest lesson you take from last offseason?
I don't know that there's a specific thing I'd give you that's a great answer here. I think every offseason is a little bit new. For example, just the staff being here and we're done. The scheme, we got it. We'll make our tweaks. We got plenty of time, but we all know it. So now we get more time to focus on helping the scouting department with just our opinions on the guys and our evaluations on guys and how it fits. So just to that extent, I mean, you just look at the off seasons over time here. You're talking about COVID. You're talking about the second year of COVID when you're not in the building as much and all the different things that have happened. Staff changed last year. It's rare that you have the same off season 2 years in a row. And so I feel like we're in a better place this offseason with our staff and with the players we have coming back to make really good decisions to help our team moving forward.
How much from a player standpoint?
Go ahead.
From a player standpoint on defense, what's the biggest piece that you think you already have? Maybe position-wise?
Well, I think at every position you've got guys that showed me a lot of growth and potential, and so however you add around that to supplement that. Is a really positive thing for that unit. So I just think if you go position by position and you look at the veterans that have helped us and the young guys that are continuing to ascend, there's a lot to be excited about.
Over the last, really since 22 in free agency, there have been a lot of very good players who have signed here saying like, I can win a ring here.
Yeah.
And that's part of the pitch, and that's something they value and believe in. Do you feel like because you have Joe, Jamar, and T, that pitch still works?
I do. I think, when you get a chance we don't meet with the free agents necessarily because it's a wacky process that way. But I think people know, and there's respect there for our team and how we operate. And for guys that talk to our players in the building, I hate to speak for them, but I think that they really like it here. And they like how we operate and how we treat them and all that kind of stuff. And so they see the opportunity here. And so I think just through word of mouth over the last several years, the feedback I've always gotten is really good. That guys kind of see the opportunity here and what it's like, and hear from their friends that have signed here and had a really good experience. And so I trust that process.
How much does this organization value the guard position?
That's a hard one to answer. I mean, we value good players that help us win. And so I can't put a metric on how you value it. But I was really excited this year about the growth of Dylan. I thought he did a really nice job. I thought Dalton did a great job at right guard for us. I'm excited for the future of Jalen Rivers as well. So again, I think I was excited about the direction that room headed this year, and I know Dalton's under a contract, and we'll work through that and make our best decisions for a team. But I can't put a metric on how you value guard.
Given what Dalton brought, is it almost surprising that he's bounced around the way he has after getting here and finding a home? I mean, he's
Yeah, I don't know the reason for all that. You know, I've enjoyed my experience with him. I think he did a great job for us. I loved his presence in the locker room. I loved his presence in the O-line room. I liked my interactions with him. He's helped me. I think he's no nonsense, straight to the point. I appreciate that about him. He's a Big 8 guy at heart, and so I think that's where that stems from. You know, a guy from that region. So I can appreciate that.
Zach, with Al having a little bit of a shorter runway into the job, I think you spoke about that a little bit in different words, just because of the title, the run to the championship game with Notre Dame. Just wondering from that point forward, when you got the defensive coaching staff set up, and now that you can look back through the full body of work of the 17 games, how did you see him grow into that role?
I think, you know, as that staff really worked hard to come together and get on the same page with scheme and how we're going to coach these guys. And so like anything, I saw great growth from that side of the ball. And you know, post by, those guys gave up, 18 point something points a game, over the last 8 games. And there's a lot of statistics I can read where it shows market improvement. And so again, I like the direction that group is headed. I like the direction our team is headed. I don't say that. I know how it sounds when we come off the record we just had, but again, I've got a lot of excitement, and I'm excited to get back to work and get these guys ready for next year.
As someone who's gone through a lot of 7 off seasons now with Duke, can you shed some light on why you think Duke Tobin is so good to partner with you in creating this roster the way that you guys need?
I think he's got no ego. He's not in it for himself. He's in it to make the Bengals the best we can be, and there's no ulterior motive there. And he loves this place. He's been here a long time. There's nothing more than Duke wants than to win a Super Bowl and provide a roster that matches that expectation. And so it's easy for me to work with him. It's easy for me to work with his staff. They're good people. They're around. So you get a chance to really know them and grow with them. We've all grown together. I mean, that whole department, our coaching staff has grown together. And just the easiest thing I can say is about Duke is there's no ego. He just wants what's best for the team, and so there's nothing other than that. And so I enjoy working with him every day. We got a great relationship, and I'm confident that we're on the same page, and we'll make this thing the best it can be.
This is probably the greatest sense of.
What are conversations like with Duke when you have a season like this during it?
I mean, we have so many conversations, so we're both frustrated. I mean, it's we didn't meet expectations, and so that's frustrating for both of us, and we certainly share that with each other and how we can grow and what we both think are reasons we can grow and things that we've got to be better at. And I think when you've got 2 like-minded people, you can work through all that stuff and get on the same page.
Given the statement from Mike today and kind of the lack of postseason success you've had, how do you gauge a sense of urgency going into this offseason compared to maybe other off seasons where you've had success?
You're going to get my best every day, whether we're coming off a Super Bowl appearance or the season we just had. And so I think our urgency is always a word that we would utilize because that's just, I feel like it's our DNA. We're not lackadaisical. We're not going to take time off when we should be grinding and getting stuff done. So I think that my feeling doesn't change. I'm appreciative I have this opportunity. I know how grateful I am to be sitting here and have another opportunity to go make a run and win a division and go back to the playoffs and do all those things that we love to do. That's why we do this, to elevate a city and a fan base and make their year. Like I don't take that for granted. And I know how we've left them feeling the last couple of years. And so there's nothing more that creates more urgency than for us to go win for ourselves because of the work we put in, win for our families that have supported us, and win for the city that has supported us through thick and thin. And I know what it felt like in 2021 and 2022, and we have got to get back to that as quickly as possible so that we can all enjoy this ride. And that's what we're going to do.
Do you feel like you got to win folks back?
I don't worry about that. I know winning makes believers of us all. That makes sense. I can understand how that quote came to be because that's a true statement. It's written in our building. We see it every day. But that's the truth. You go through hard times and there's disappointment, and then all of a sudden you win some games, you're right back in the thick, and people can't wait to jump on board. So I love it is great being here and having passionate fans. It is, and I don't take that for granted. There's other places you go where it seems like they're indifferent. Maybe as they're sitting in the stadium and the game's going on, and here they're not indifferent. Here they're passionate and they have high expectations and they want us to win, and they're going to support us, and they really want to support a winner. And so we got to give them that, and we're going to work our tails off to do that for them.
Zach, there was so much talk last year about how this team can get off to a fast start, because that seemed to be a buzz theme for the last couple
What do you got for me next year?
What are you going to think about this offseason in that similar regard?
Yep.
About what you could change that may have been different?
Well, you talked about starting fast. I really think closing out games and finishing, and however that looks like, finishing the game on offense by possessing the ball and finishing with points and ending the game, or defense getting off the field on a 2-minute drill, special teams making a play that changes the game or leading the game. So you got to be creative with that thinking, over the course of the offseason and training camp. But it's certainly on my mind, as you look at some of these games. And I think the games we lost were all its own story. Every game wasn't necessarily the same thing, the same reason. Everybody had their hand in it in all three phases. But that's the part that I'm excited to explore is how can we change, kind of how about go about things in training camp, the offseason to tighten that up because we didn't finish well enough in a lot of these games.
You had a Burrow deal to get done 2 years ago. T, Jamar, and Trey this past offseason. There's really nothing like that this offseason. How does that affect team building this offseason?
Well, that's I don't have a great answer for you there because there's still guys that have earned the right to have those conversations, and I'll let Duke and all them have those conversations. So that's kind of the best I can give you. I think it is good to have a lot of guys under contract coming back that are ready for a new opportunity and the next opportunity, and so we'll continue to focus on those guys.
Is there a path for Trey to return?
Trey Hendrickson? There's always a path.
One more thing, Zach, you had mentioned, I think, you expect no changes on your coaching roster.
Correct.
Does that also mean likely no interviews with any other teams?
I can't answer that. That's too early in the process to see, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Zach.